Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all today. I have some new lighting that's going on today, so hopefully I don't have too many bad shadows. It looks like I kind of do here, but that's okay. We will make this work. Hi, I'm Mark Mandel. I'm a developer advocate for Google Cloud. I have a cup of tea, which is very important. And today we're going to be working on some end-to-end tests for Agones, which is an open source platform for running game servers. Let's put that in a happy place. That sounds good. Okay, so actually, what are we working on? Let's pop back over. So we're gonna let me show ya. So actually, let me part of actually I don't want to explain this. Part of the CI/CD process of Agones is we do these end-to-end tests. So we install Agones on a cluster and we run through a variety of tests to make sure things are working the way that they should. Pretty straightforward stuff. Um, we have this package in here called test end to end. With that, what we have is our test framework. So it does all like the authentication against Kubernetes. So here we go, like we pull in our Kubernetes config, and then we have like abilities to run all stuff. And then basically from here, this becomes just a standard Go test. There's actually nothing special about it. So here's like our game server tests. Like, can you create a game server and connect to it? And if I make sure, I don't think we have any game servers so that my system is authenticated. We refresh our token, right? So I have everything here. I have a version of Helm installed with this player tracking stuff I'm working on. Cool. There I can see that is up there and deployed. Exit that, flip that because that's a bit nicer to look at. And so if I run this, for example, and it compiles, compiling, here we go, and runs. Ooh, and something failed. That's weird. Test framework quit unexpectedly. I've never seen that before. That's weird. What is that? Why? I do this all the time. That is so funny. Okay, so we're gonna work out why this is broken. Flag needs an argument test run. Templates. Go test. The only thing I've done in there is I and race. Blah? That doesn't make any sense. So delete all the old tests. Of course, literally, of course. That flag needs an argument. Test.run. What? Let's see if is there like plugin updates. Yeah, I can update that. That's not interesting. What? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that figures. I'll tell you what. Let's edit configurations. Let's go into my templates and we will go to go test. We will strip out my go tool arguments and apply that. Right. See if that makes any difference. What's the call here? Go tools test. It looks like it already has race in it now. Maybe that's it. Maybe it added something in the recent update. I swear I've run this stuff before. Figures something would fail. It's still compiling. Cool. No? Yep. Nope, still failed. What on earth? Flag needs an argument test.run. Test-c, yada yada yada. Test run. It has an argument. It's right there. I do not understand. Okay. Use, that's bizarre. Because, like, if I look at any one of our other tests, let me just grab another test for giggles. Game server's test, that's fine. Test game server is pod. Yeah, right? Like, run that. I was running tests yesterday. I swear it was fine. Yeah, see? Fine. We did recently do some stuff in this tool. All right, hold on, bear with me. So we did actually recently, and I'm going to put this back in. Let's go tool arguments. Dash race. All right, that's fine for like test this game server pod. We made some changes to how flags get parsed. Okay, so that's fine. But we did something in main test. Here we go. I remember this now. Okay, so let me bear with me one sec. Parse test flags. Parse test flags separately because p flag ignores just flags. It's just test. If string has prefix dash test flags are append. Oh, that's what something weird is going on here. I remember this. I remember someone mentioning this in a PR. Agones. Yeah, come here. It's closed. Unit tests. Cool. Just making sure. Where are we? I know it's okay. So we're gonna go deep into a whole bunch of other stuff because that's just what's gonna happen. Okay. So in here we did a thing where we prepare, update player tracking. We did a thing where we pass in the feature flags. So we have a bunch of feature flags for Agones that specify like what features you can turn on and off based on like alpha features and beta features and stuff. And we added that as a thing to be able to pass that into end-to-end tests. And we did that as a flag that gets passed through. And I remember this coming up because there was a conversation around feature gates enable features. Feature gates flag passed in end tests. Here we go. I remember this coming up because what would happen was certain things would fail based on. Alright, we're gonna have to expand that section. We had this, yeah, there was this split, this handling of flags inside tests that was tricky. Split flags, here we go. P flag evaporate and flag provided was not defined because standard flag package doesn't consider flag declared as a variable if it's registered using P flag. Okay. Should be used every time I want to parse flags before running tests. So I thought parse test flags. Right. And then how do these get called again? So from memory, parse test flags. Append test flags. All right, so we're gonna fix this because this is super annoying. All right, parse test flags comes first, and when we do, I'm pretty sure, was it build? Yeah, end-to-end image. When we run end-to-end, and I don't think this changes. We run make test end-to-end. Okay. Test end-to-end failure. Test ending and integration. So we're doing go test, which is defined somewhere. So that's a whole other thing. We'll come back to that in a sec. Test args, game server image, pull secret, feature flags. Okay, so probably equals. Okay, so that's fine. It's docker run go test command, which is go test mod vendor race detector args. Yep, equals race. Okay, so that seems fine. So it's going to run all of that, except for the fact that. Right. Okay, so what we're actually looking at is P flag. Flag change flag is an argument. So what's the workaround that they provide? Without values. If strings. So what is he doing? All right. Arrange these values P flags from flags using go test -v. It works by separating the test flags and all other flags, then hands them off to the correct flag parser. Right? Okay, so right. See, that doesn't happen in our stuff. Got it. All right. So we're gonna make this work. So parse test flags. Where are we? Sorry. Main test error par test flags and then new from flags. It does all that stuff. So yeah. Parse test flags is incomplete. I think we need to do that. Oh, interesting. I might just steal this whole section. Flag.command line parse test flags. Yeah, I think we need to remove it. Someone's done something even more intense, but I'm not going to worry about it. So basically, what I believe it's doing is taking the test flags out of the arguments. Command line pause. Okay, got it. And then, yeah. Okay. And all of that should actually be handled as well. Okay, and that returns that, which I'm okay with as well. I'm just going to actually kind of copy paste this because I think this looks like it's better than what we had. Let's plot that in. All right, so which does the same thing as what we had before. So anything in the test area is fine, is good, and then we put it into our own test flags thing. We remove it from the p flag slice, so that basically OS args gets removed from that. And then that's that. Okay, so now let's see if this works. Basically, for as way I understand it, p flags. Oh, come on, really? All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Related issues 63, yeah, which is what I'm looking at. I think. Yep. So what are we using for a logger right now in here? I just need something. I just want to see what's going on. Actually, you know what? Even easier. Let us set a breakpoint. Yeah, do that. Let's debug it. Easy way of doing this. Let's run it as a debug. Hey, Afraid Duchess, how you doing? Is my audio a bit quiet, you say? I'm doing alright. Is that a bit better? Adjusted my gain just a touch if I put my mic just in front of my face. Good to see you again on the stream. Alright, debug takes forever to compile. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. So let's see what we got. All right, so we have two test flags. Let's have a look. Come on. We have test V and test run. Beautiful. What I also want to see... Where are we? Go to here. Beautiful. I want to see os.args. Can I see that? All right, so we have those two things. They should disappear. Oh. Can I get at that data? From here. And I think the answer to that is no. What does the console do? Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, we'll stop that. Let us... Because os.args is a global variable, I'm assuming. And it is. Okay. Choose logress, it's fine. Logress dot with field. Just use os.args info current operating system args. Now, actually, let's also look at this. Not this one, sorry. Main test. Let's drag this out. So we go new from args. New from args does all this Viper stuff. We do a p flag parse, which is exactly what they do in this gist. Oh, not this gist. This gist. Go flag, and then they do a flag.parse. Oh, they do a flag.parse. So what does your just do? Accidentally just go flags, filter go flags with values. Flags with or without values. Right. Pass through. Like, why is that not just working? Or do we just need a different version, maybe? 1.0.5. What are we running? P flag 1.0.3. Maybe. If I strip this, for argument's sake, if I do this, and then I go mod, how do I do that in go mod? Go mod update package. I can never remember how to do this stuff. Daily workflow. Thank you. What I want is to go get minus. Okay, maybe I do that. Go get dash u. Let's get the latest p flag. Yep. Nice. Go on vendor. So we had a guide on the Agones stuff on how we handled this. I should follow our own guide because I can never remember how to use this thing. Okay, go pass. No. Dependencies. Grab mod tidy. Grab mod vendor. Really? That order? Alright. Oops. Go mod tidy. Go mod vendor. And I can see a bunch of stuff for p flag. Okay, cool. That's what we wanted. This seems good. I see some changes there. That's really it. All right. I like it. I like it. Just gonna earn this just because. Yep. Just because that's fun. Just because those changes were done by. Because it's running in Docker, it's run as root, and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. Let's see if that helps. So I deleted that, which means I can delete that. So in theory, p flag should just ignore it because it's now the latest version. Let's see how that goes. All right, let's just make triple sure. Sometimes the end-to-end tests will fail if I haven't run kubectl for a bit because the token's not been refreshed. So I just make sure it's running. Okay, let's just run a usual version of it. Hey, okay, now we're getting something interesting. Could not game server ready. Creating something failed. What failed? Why would you fail? But at least now we seemed error executing access token. Okay, that's fine. That's actually completely different issue. kubectl config current context. That should be fine. So actually, that's interesting. That's actually a good error. That should work. Basically, what that's actually saying is we go and grab. Oh, come on! Couldn't error executing token command up to gcloud SDK bin gcloud. That's because it is complaining. I have gcloud. My command is not found. Let me just double check that that exists locally. Basically, permission denied. That's just stupid. Huh. It's mine. You can't. You can. Yeah. Oh, I have a. Oh, I know why. Yeah, I just have weird setups. Just don't worry about it. I just have weird setups, and sometimes that means I have strange permission issues on my machine. But that should be mine now, and so now that should actually run. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so back to the thing that we were meant to be doing in the first place. All right, cool. Oh my god, how are we doing for time? We're good. We're really good, actually. All right, fantastic. Just making sure. All right, now we can see test pass. So, like, for example, okay, so after all that ridiculousness, so let's just clean up a little bit here. And we're actually going to commit this because that's really useful. P flag, so we don't have to ignore tests. Just dump that in there, and then I'll pull that into a separate PR later. Okay, so like for example, this test here, this is where we were trying to be in the beginning, but now things are actually working, which is good. Okay, oh well, we found out some fun things along the way. So we create ourselves a game server. We have this default game server that does that. It just creates the object. And then we have another function that creates the game server and waits until it's ready. You can actually see it here. So we're actually just calling Kubernetes functions to create these objects. And then we're just having a look to see whether or not they're in the state that we're expecting them in. We have a bunch of helper functions like wait for game server state, which is just does a polling operation to see whether or not until something comes back in a certain amount of time, all that kind of stuff. Really, like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Kubernetes and client Go is really nice. It has a lot of polling operations built into it, things like that. So a lot of this is all asynchronous. So you have to kind of wait for things to happen, see what happens, that kind of stuff. Okay. So we have this simple UDP. This is our simple UDP example that we use for all our end-to-end tests. And what it does is takes these commands via our UDP packets that it receives and does stuff. And this is literally how all our stuff works. So for example, like if I want to crash the game server, I can call it send crash to it. If I want to send it an annotation, I can do that too. So I've added a few things here. I'm going to start with these 3 commands for end-to-end tests. There's a bunch of new functionality in the SDK for end-to-end test. Where are we? I would like to close other tabs. Thank you. Where we scroll down. Let's go down to the V2 or... Really? No V2? Yeah, V2 just signed. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want. There's a bunch of new functionality here from like player disconnect, set player capacity, get player capacity. Like there's all this new stuff, which is super cool. I'm just going to start with, I think, the bare basics of what we need for end-to-end test here, which is... which I was what I was writing last night, which is, where are we? Player capacity, player connect, and player disconnect. And then if we want to add more stuff from that, we can. And so basically what I've already set these up wherein, so if I send a command with player capacity, a space, and it'll, take that, convert it, and set the player capacity to a certain value. Player connect will take the second part will be an ID for the player that's connect, and then player disconnect will be the same thing. And then we can actually just have a look at some of the what the actual resource looks like inside whatchamacallit? What's the word I'm looking for? Inside the actual game server itself and see whether it's doing the things we want. So I'm actually just going to put this in game server test, I think. Unless I want to, let me think about this. Do I want to have player tracking sit in its own file? No, I don't think that's necessary. I am going to steal some stuff, though, while I'm here, just because I can. Where's a wait until ready? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Blam. All right, actually, I'm going to grab all of that. Spots. In fact, oh, no, actually, bear with me one sec. There's a lot of good stuff in there that I can steal. I'm actually going to clean that up, but we'll get there. All right. Need test function. Game server set player capacity. Okay. And so this is actually going to be running these commands on my Kubernetes cluster, which is actually a GKE cluster just running in the sky. So let's just pop that out real quick because that's going to give me, okay, default game server. I'm going to get myself a ready.js. I'm going to spit that out. I'm actually just going to call that all JS because it's going to make my life easier. Sometimes you find patterns and we'll re-declare. Yep, that's fine. Continue. Sometimes, I did that as a pattern in the beginning and now I'm not so happy with it, but that's the way of all things. All right, so if that can't do that, then we're going to say the game server can't be ready. And then we say, okay, we're making sure it is ready. Okay, so, so really all I want to do actually, so if I come back over to, I don't need that, I need you. Player capacity. We're going to send player capacity space, say 20. Actually, and we'll do, actually, we're going to do 2 of these actually. T.run, no initial capacity set. Yep, and then T.run, initial capacity set. So there's basically 2 ways we can do, and so we're setting player capacity, right? So this is how we're telling game server how many players it's going to potentially have within it, and whatchamacallit. And so I'm going to do one where we're not going to set that, and then I'm going to do one where we do. So, and we may end up rejigging this depending on how we want to do this. So let's drop that in. I also want to assert.equal that tgs.status.players.capacity should be 0. Actually, and we need to flip that because the expected is on the left. Let me grab that all out. Beautiful. So we can just run that to get started. Make sure that's doing what we expect it to be doing, which is good. I just want to check my calendar. All right, sweet. I don't have to do anything for a little while. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just making sure. Beautiful. Okay, and that passes. Beautiful. Everything is... did I run the right test? Test create connect. That is the wrong test. Oh, no, it's still compiling. Yeah, there we go. Instantiating test. No initial capacity set. Fantastic. And we actually can, depending if we catch it, kubectl get GS. Yep, it's still there. Okay, cool. Oh, and something failed. Failed already. That was quick. Oh, I know why it failed, and I'll tell you why it failed. Well, actually, no, completely different reasons. It failed because that needs to be in 64. Where are we? So let me pull that out. That should be in 64. One of the reasons this is also going to fail, well, right now it probably won't fail because the player capacity might be nil. That's a whole other thing. But what I also need to do, if I go into, not that main, I want main test. Or maybe it's in framework. Let me have a look. Somewhere in here, main test, we specify what the image we should be using for the test is. And let's see if we can find that. And I want to change that. I mean, we can actually pass it on the command line, but that's default game server. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Where do we specify the container? F game server image. We create the framework. Where does that get specified? Here. All right, lovely. To put this back as Agones. So I've explained this a few times, but if you haven't seen me do this before, I use TOXO as a like a high level to do. So if I pop over here, you'll see this is like telling me all the stuff that I need to do. I have like inside in here, I can't commit this stuff Sorry, no, I can't. Well, I can commit it. Actually, that's not true. But this is what tells me that I need to. These are the things I need to get done before my next pull request. And I find that what I can do is I can smatter tixus around my code, and that gives me like indications of what I need to work on next. And I know that I go check it. I find that to-dos with a TODO is like something that just ends up getting everywhere inside a project. So this just gives me a handy way to filter out the stuff that I want to work on within this work in progress PR that I'm a work in progress branch that I'm working within. Part of my process. So it means I can put this in here, and then what I can do now is I can switch that to 0.2.0, which is the one that I built just for me. And then I have a note here to remind me to send it back to the original version. Okay. So let's pop over to here and see if that works now. Instantiating tests. And that looks good. All right, fantastic. All right. So now let's actually do that work to set the player capacity. So here, yeah, that's fine. I actually don't know how that comes back. I assume it comes back as that. So we're going to do that. And then I think we're going to have to actually poll it to see if the data's come back the way we expect it to. So let's do that. Wait.poll. Do we want to do it immediately, or do we want to wait a minute? No, we'll do immediate. Time.second. So just do a polling every second. It should be done within 30 seconds, but let's give it a minute just to be on the safe side, especially with a lot of tests running on. And then func, blam. Oh, I don't like how it gives it names, so we'll get rid of those two. And we need to give that an error. And then we want to assert.noerror, tr. All right. So what are we testing here? So what we want to do is, I've done this a bunch of times, and now my brain just fell over. Framework dot Agones client dot Agones v1 dot game servers default namespace gsr equals get name gs dot object meta dot name. I think it takes yeah, meta v1 get options, v1 get options. Bluff. Whee! Okay, so we get our game server. If we're getting an error, if error, I have a thing for that. Error doesn't return false error. Otherwise, return gs dot status dot players dot capacity equals 10. Put that in brackets because it's nicer. No. You're going to complain about the brackets, aren't you? Yeah, okay, so I'm not parentheses, that's fine. So basically, keep looping around here until we see that there are 10 players. Otherwise, timeout within a minute. And then assert that there's no error. Yeah, so that's a pretty easy check. Let's see what's going on. So just, yeah, so we do need to poll immediately. Like, we need to do a polling operation just to hammer in on that, because everything is async, right? We're sending this UDP packet up. It needs to go in a queue on the SDK server side to make sure, like, if the master goes down or something happens, it's still going to happen. Then it has to hit the Kubernetes API. Then like, there's all these distributed system pieces that need to go through. So we need to always be, what's the word I'm looking for? Checking to see, like, is this thing done? Now, this is... Okay. Let's have a look at it. That's an interesting spacing. Capacity is 20. Okay, so we're seeing that there. This does not seem to be... Oh, I said 10. I stupid. 20. That would be better. Let's try that again. We could also put some logging in there. compiling, instantiating tests. We could put some more logging in here. There we go, right? And that worked. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to do basically exactly the same thing now, but there is an option within a game server to specify that yes, you want actually, I thought it. Sorry, my brain just went to something else. Let me add this in. Skip this test if player tracking unenabled. Sorry, need to add that there. Yeah, so there is an option within a game server to set an initial capacity when you first create the game server. So I want to test that too, make sure that's doing what it should do. Because I don't. Yeah, we haven't done any end-to-end tests on, and like we haven't done any changes here on end-to-end tests. Let's just have a quick look. I don't think so. Show history. Improving game server. Yeah, like there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing new here. All right. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. All right, so it's basically going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to copy the whole thing. I don't know if we want to duplicate. But let's say gs.spec.players.initial capacity. Let's say it's 10. This seems good. Why are you complaining? Okay, you are not complaining for any good reason. Don't bring her up today. You say that to-do is a typo? It is not a typo, actually. That is how I delineate that this is a to-do item that I really need to do before I get stuff done. So I filter on those. Those are actually very important to-dos for me. And there we go. We're back. Yeah, my CPU went all fun. Yeah, I think my bandwidth just did a weird thing. But we seem to be back now. Okay, so just triple checking to make sure I didn't break anything. Nope, we're good. Okay, we're back. Excellent. That was weird. Cool. Alrighty, so that all looks pretty good. All right, so we're gonna set that there, and then we'll basically do the same thing with that. Do we want to turn this into a table-based test? I don't know, but let's run this, see what happens. Should be basically exactly the same. And, ooh, invalid member. Oh, there's nothing in it. Okay, so I actually know exactly what happened here. So, not there. I'll show you where that happened. So, here, default capacity doesn't have a spec.players, so we need to create one. Players is a player spec. And it has an initial capacity, and we'll give it 10. And that should work better. We tried to set a value that didn't exist, and it was nil, so it died appropriately. Get rid of that. There we go. That's looking better, and that passed too. There's one thing I wanted to add in here, and I think there's an example. Skip. Yes, perfect. Oops, back here. Yep, let me find it. Where are we? And this is why I write to zoos. Here we go, perfect. Thank you. Copy that. So that is the wrong actually feature. I need this to be feature player tracking. Beautiful. So we have internally, like we just have a small library to track feature flags. It's our feature library called feature enabled. So I can actually see what's enabled and what's not. And it works throughout our entire system. It's super simple. You could write the code in 30 lines. I think it is about 30 lines actually. Oh no, I lied. There's 100 lines in there. There we go. Because, go in verbosity, which is fine. Okay, so that looks pretty good. But I'll actually show you something that I kind of like doing as well, which is kind of fun. Where are we? So if I do something like, And sometimes, I don't know if other people have this, sometimes on Intellij, my keyboard just stops responding. And I need to restart. I need to restart it. Because reasons. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. It happens to me occasionally. Pop that back over. There we go. And we're back. Plugin updated installed. Cool. My Rust plugin is now updated. All right. So I don't need you. Of course, you're indexing, because why wouldn't you? So one thing I'll actually commonly do inside my, what's the words I'm looking for? Inside my end-to-end tests is I can actually do simple stuff like this. I can just basically say like time.sleep. Let's just say like 30 seconds. When I want to have a moment where I'm like, I just want to see what's actually happening inside my system. So here at this point, right, like if I run this, run test game servers, and it compiles. Compiling. Right, so that's running. I now have a bit of time. Oh, God. My feature is not enabled for this particular test because it's not passed through on this moment. It's all right. We can edit that. Edit configurations for this particular test. Is it dash feature flags? Where are we? Not that one. I should know this because I wrote the thing. Features.go. Feature gates. Edit config. Set player capacity. Yeah, this one. Here we go. Dash feature gates equals player tracking equals true. Apply. Okay. Run it now. That should work. Yeah, there it goes. Test ignored. Should work. Test JSON. Test run. Dash feature gates. Oh, it needs to run. Or is it dash feature gates? Now I gotta go. How do we do this usually? Nope. Builds. Includes. I found this. Where did it go? It went to Mayfiles. Test end-to-end integration. Feature gates. Hopefully I didn't break the end-to-end tests, but I don't think so. I'll tell you what. Dot with field gates feature gates runtime dot encode features. Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's try that. But that should work. Edit configurations. Feature gates equals player. Tracking equals true. That looks like it should be fine. Of course, we did just tweak all this stuff, so who knows if I broke something, right? Here you go. Features enabled. Feature gates. Container port allocation. Example is true. Player tracking is false. Why? That's a good question. feature player tracking, player tracking. That's weird. Unless I did something wrong. Feature gates, player tracking equals 2. Unless it's in the wrong spot. Argument's sake. Now we're ending up in a different place. Yeah, because then it's there. Flag derided but not defined. Feature gates. Oh, okay. That's new. Okay, so we don't want that. Okay, so that's bad. I will also add another field to this. Let's see what our OS arcs look like. Yep. Then I'll be able to see what's going on. Yeah, should not that be in the program's argument instead of GoTools argument? Yeah, that's what I was trying. This one would have a look. So features enable, player tracking is false. OS args. It's not there. It's not there. Huh. That's weird. Or my... which one am I running? Initial capacity set? Oh, maybe I'm running the wrong thing. Am I just running the wrong one? Should really just set it on all of them, right? Okay. This one says... Right, it's not there. Okay, so it's probably going to work, but it's just not working right now. Why is it not working right now? Let's edit configurations on let's just add it to all of these ones. Try that. And you're right, it might be on the program. Yeah, flags.parse is there. Oh, wait. No, flags.parse happens on our main test, right? So this happens up here. We do new from flags. It does all this stuff. Do I need to add a flags.parse? I shouldn't need... Yeah, pflags should take care of it. But I actually look at what's in the OS args, and that value is not there. It's not in that. So let's actually have a look again. And it might just be how Intellij is doing this. So I'm going to punt on this for now and just comment it out for the moment. And we'll see what happens when it runs the full suite, when I do the whole thing. Because that's, I think I have a strong feeling it's because Intellij will like run it in one spot and then send it to another spot. Like that just seems weird. The only other thought I could do, oh, you know what I could do? I could do feature gates equals, I can do it as an environment variable. Because I think they both will come through. put it on all of them. Let's run that now. Nope, still failed. If I run the whole thing, for argument's sake. Nope, still ignored. Huh. Alright, I will. That's weird. Let's actually have a look. os.with field and we call it, because on main test, I'm fairly sure. Do new from flags. We set defaults. We parse feature bind flags. So we set all the feature flag stuff. We add bind envs. Now, should that happen after we bind envars? You know, that's a good question. Let me double check that inside how we do it in other places, which is command, say controller, main. So parse env flags, blah, 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 blah. So default, bunch of p flag stuff. We will want that. Which we may already have, actually, new from flags. Let's add that. Because I don't think we have that anywhere else. Yep, runtime parse features from env. Okay, try that now. That's something weird. Oh, you're right. Is there an env? I really don't want to. What does expand env do? Actually, what does that do? Replaces var. Oh no, I don't want that. Lookup env is going to give me the wrong thing. Retrieves the value of environment variable name by key if the variable is present in environment variable, which is empty. Okay, so that should be feature gate. Oh, except we need to put that into underscore. Okay, I don't care. All right, try that. Let's see what happens. We're just gonna run both of them. There we go. Okay, so apparently environment variable is the way to go. All right, that is now working. Apparently environment variable does the trick and passes through nicely through this stuff. Okay, that is good to know. Learning things every day. What I wanted to do is basically be able to see things like, hey, I've got these game servers ready. I can actually go and have a look at them. I usually put a... Oops, wrong one. Yes, that one. So that's why I'll throw a 30-second in there so I can see things like, oh, look, there's my event. You know, like it became ready. All that kind of good stuff. I can see what's going on in here, which makes me very happy. So just a nice little debuggable type thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, the good thing is that works. Now I know how to do it. I'm going to assume that... Where does the environment get set? Do we know? Out of curiosity. cares? So that gives me player capacity. So cool. That's a good first start. So that means then we can just move on from there. And so like I think you can start to see that once you have your initial framework set up for how to do end-to-end tests, you can actually do this. It's not like too difficult. It's just that you need a cluster that you can point stuff at, and you get your local kubectl config, and then you're pretty much ready to go. We do this in Cloud Build. I'll actually show you where that is, somewhere in here. And we basically use exactly the same. Where are we? Where's end to end? Here we go. We have an end-to-end runner. What does that do? We have an end-to-end runner image that we actually build. So we have some complicated stuff here that actually creates an image with all our end-to-end stuff in it. And then we have an end-to-end SH. So we do our installation that pushes it up. And then we have a make test end-to-end. I'm trying to work out if we... Yeah, so we get the credentials for our end-to-end cluster. We do some port forwarding. Like we set this up all the way we need to. That's our entry point. One interesting bit of this actually with our end-to-end scripts, and you'll see here's our entry point.sh, is that we actually run an instance of console on our cluster. Because Cloud Build doesn't have a nice way of basically saying, hey, this is what's the word I'm looking for? We don't have a nice way in Cloud Build to be like, hey, only run this step, but not at the same time as other steps. We need sort of basically a locking mechanism. And since we already have this cluster, we just run console, and then we do a console lock against it. We can run our end-to-end test, which is this script here, wait for it to finish, and any other step, we'll just wait for that to happen as well. I cannot pronounce that name, but Krista, you're saying that it needs to be a program argument, not a tool argument. Yeah, I tried that though, I swear. But you know what? Since we're in this together, let's have a look. So let's say we're going to do this one. Edit configs. So we're saying, I take out the environment one. Let's take that out. So I put it in the program arguments. You're saying, okay, set capacity. Actually, I was going to do this one. Just the straight one here. I swear I tried that and it just complained. It was just like, nope. Maybe there needs to be a different way of calling it. Right, so I ran that. Compiling. I'm actually quite happy with setting it as an environment variable. That's why we have both, because it just makes life easy. See, like this happens. Flag provided not defined, feature gates is part of go tool test adjacent. Like it ends up here. So you know what? I'm just gonna say this is probably just about how IntelliJ does it, and we'll just use an environment variable and call it a day. And I think that is fine. We'll get rid of these for the moment. And these. Let's go back to this and go test and dash raced. Okay, cool. And I think that's fine. We have a way of doing it. The environment variable can get passed. We are good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna actually commit this because this looks really good and I'm really happy about it. Actually, we'll go import /w test end. Make sure that's all tidy. We'll actually go have a look at our import statements. Make sure that's not messed up. Good, because sometimes it can be. But otherwise, yeah, pretty happy with this. So let's commit it. You know what I will do actually as well? Before I do that, let's do a make lint. Hopefully that doesn't completely destroy my CPU while I'm streaming. So let's run the linter, make sure that it doesn't pick up anything weird like that. If I've written something or maybe missed an error in my test or something along those sort of lines. How are we doing for time? Good. Good. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Just making sure I'm not missing anything important. Nope, good. All right, and the linter picked up some stuff. Parse test flags not declared by package framework. What? But I don't actually call that. Main test, where are you complaining about? Test end-to-end. Oh, I deleted it. Yep. I'm with you. So in controller, in this main test, bloop, that needs to go away too. And this is why we run mate-lint and other such things, but also why we just have a big CI process. Let's run that again. Doom, I'm just like, Doom bring operator, T run, parse, and var, cert no error. What is this code that you are writing? What is this code that you are dropping in chat? I see down here. Okay. That looks better. Let's just do another go imports to make sure I didn't mess anything up. Beautiful. I saw a test that has that. I don't think. OS.set FeatureGate test true. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's probably part of the actual unit tests for feature flags. That's not part of the end-to-end tests. I would hazard a guess. If you're someone's asking about this test, which is this one here. Yeah, this is the we were just looking at it here. This is the unit test specifically for the features stuff. So they don't cross. They're in completely different places. But that's a good question. All right, end-to-end tests for player capacity, offset player capacity. I'm just putting, I have this work in progress patch that I put all my work into, and then I'll actually pull stuff out of. So I don't really care too much about my history being like super nice. But that does me the first one. All right, cool. Yay. All right, good first step. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so next on my list, let's have a look. And I think is player connect and disconnect. And that one's going to get a bit more interesting and a bit more complicated, but it should be fun. Cool. We should be able to solve this in. All right, test, player connect and disconnect. And we can set this up fairly similarly. I'm actually going to do it with an initial capacity set. Ooh, am I going to do it with an initial capacity set? Yes, I am. Reason I asked that question was because if we set an initial capacity, we can only add players up to that capacity. Otherwise, at that point, our thing starts throwing errors at us. If we try and set players above and beyond our initial capacity. So yes, this is what we want. So let's start with this. I'm just going to add 3 players. I think 3 is a good number because we're gonna add players as we go through, and then we're gonna remove them. We're gonna see what happens and all that kind of fun stuff, which should be fun. So what I'm actually gonna do, yeah, let's add 3 players in quick succession because there is something that I want to test in here. So let's add 3 players in quick succession. So why does that keep popping up for me? Is that just the documentation tab? All right, cool. Good for you. You stay there. I'm very happy that you're there. So we're gonna, here we go. So I think it's player connect. Let me just double check. Simple UDP main. Thank you. That's what I called it. Player connect. Beautiful. player connect, and we're just going to use 1 as our key. So whenever a player connects, there's a excuse me, there's a unique key that we pass along. We're assuming there's some kind of unique tokening system that comes through here. And so we're going to pass in 1. Message game server, that's fine. And then we get a reply back, and we should just get player 1. Oh, excuse me. Actually, I'm going to actually change the way I'm going to do that. For I equals 0, or I equals 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. Message equals format.sprintf. We'll just say bloop, di. There's actually a couple of ways I could do that. I don't know if I like that one actually. I2A, is that the one I want? Yeah, that's better. Do that one instead. Okay, so that's my key. My key is actually just going to be a number. We'll say player connect plus that. That becomes our message. And then this becomes I don't normally do it this way, but I think I'm going to this way for this time, just because. Format starts sprintf message. So that should add 3 characters, and then let's do a sleep. Sleep. I just want to see if that's gonna do what I think it's gonna do, and it should. And we can write more tests, but I actually do like kind of having a look and seeing what's going on. It makes things fun. I'm gonna run this, and all right, let's actually just do add in feature flag. We'll get there in a minute. We get rid of that one above. Yep, that's fine. We'll do that later. Do that last. So that's now compiling. Beautiful. I should actually throw out like a logris.info sleeping, so I know what's going on. I might even send a few things, but let's look. kubectl get GS. Nothing's failed so far. All right, so let's describe GS. There's only one of them. So let's have a look here. We have no IDs and no counts, and it is not doing what we want. That is strange. Okay. Send game server UDP doesn't log anything, does it? No. All right. So let's put some logging in here and see what happens. So let's stop that. Where did my test go? I just lost my test. Here we go. Logres dot with field message info sending player connect. Okay, so that should go up, and we should get an ACK back. It is possible that the version of the image that I have up in the cloud is not the latest version, but let's just make sure that my for loop is doing what I expect it to do. Because maybe it's not. That's a good first step. States to match, waiting for it to be ready. Setting player connect. Ah, that is a message. That is wrong. Okay, that would do it. Player connect space. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, run it one more time. And this is why we put debug stuff in place. Okay, we have that there. Do we still have the old one? We do. It's all right. That'll get deleted in a minute. Let's grab this one. Yes. Okay, we have 3 players. 1, 2, and 3. Badass. All right. What's also interesting is they did come through in the right order. In theory, they may not come through in the right order. So that's something we're going to need to consider when we're doing our tests. Okay, so I'm trying to decide what I want to, how I want to know that this has come to a place where I want it to have. So we're going to need to do a wait.poll. So let's do that. Wait.poll immediate. And no. I know it's definitely going to take at least a second because the way this works behind the scenes is whenever a player connects, it starts a process a second in the future, and then so it'll grab everything all together in one go and batch an operation back to the Kubernetes client to decrease the number of API hits that it's doing constantly. And so I know that time.minute should definitely not take that long, but you know, what are you going to do? Go away. Don't want done, don't want error. All right, and error equals assert dot no error t error. Now we have a GS, so what I'm actually think I'm going to do is basically wait for the count of the players to be right, and then I'm going to do subsequent things from there. So error, boop, false error. Right, that should not fail for any reason. Return gs.status.players.count equals 3. No. And I'm also going to introduce a variable, and we're going to replace all 4 occurrences, and we're going to say player count, so that we have a standard version, and that should be in 64 all the way through. Oh, you're going to complain too much. Of course you are. Oh, come on, man. You're killing me here. All right, fine. Format that's sprintf. That's just the easy way of doing it. You could also do it with format. There's like so many ways we could do this. Percentage %di. There we go. Okay. So we're going to wait until we have that and GS actually here. Is that going to complain? It is not. All right, so let's run that. Could probably get rid of the sleeping part. It's also fine at this point. I'm not worried about that too much. Game server is coming up. Look at that. All right. So, okay, so it is 3. It's looking pretty good. We can actually look at what game servers we have. And there's 3. Beautiful. There's only 1 game server, so we can do a quick describe. That looks pretty good. Cool. Yeah. No, I'm looking at the event stream and I'm trying to remember what we agreed on for the event stream, and I'm pretty sure we're just ever going to just set the values. We don't set the actual IDs through there. Weird that it does that annoying spacing thing there. That's just strange, but what are you going to do? Okay. We're using Testify for our assertions. Does Testify have a way... going justify. Basically, oh, you know what? There's a couple of ways I can solve this problem. So let's go into GoDoc though. Assert. Basically, I'm like, okay, the arrays are going to possibly be in a different order from each other. What I am wondering is if it has a nice way of, what's the word I'm looking for? Doing a non-ordered comparison between like arrays. I don't think it does. Ooh, look, there's a lot of... Did we upgrade Testify recently? I have a strange feeling we did. Actually, let's go to grad package because this is actually much nicer to look at. So that's package assert 1.5.1. Go.mod 1.5.0. So we actually have all kinds of fancy things. All right, cool. Contains does exist empty equal. What does equal values do? I want to see that. So values f is interesting. Asserts that the objects are equal or convertible to the same types and equal. Okay, that's not quite what I want. So like different types of uints and stuff like that, or different ints and stuff like that. Okay. What I can do... Oh, hello. Asserts that will met in time periodic checking. Oh, that's awesome. That's literally exactly what we do with our stuff anyway. Oh, that's actually super cool. Kind of curious to see how they do that more than anything, but yeah, this actually looks exactly like how wait double works. Anyway, that's actually super cool. Did I just see a never? They've added really nice stuff in here. In Delta implements. Wow, this is cool. Less never. So I guess this is like the reverse, which actually I've done too. I'm just going to look at that in a minute. Not contains, no files exist, not nil, not panics, not same, not subset, not zero. Objects are equal values. Same. What is same? Oh, wait, these are the... okay, but this is all... Oh, so these are functions? Okay, but these are... Okay, of type assertions, which I think end up being... Yeah, okay, you end up in the same place. Can you even do YAML equals? Fancy. Never asserts that the given condition doesn't wait for time periodic checking. Yeah, okay, same thing. All right, cool. Same asserts that two pointers reference the same object. Okay. All right, anyway, this doesn't actually help me, though I did find out some cool things, so that was nice. Oh, assert.elements match. That's a thing? I missed that. Elements. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Doombringer. Asserts the specified list A is equal to ignoring the order of elements. Yes! I thought I was going to have to sort it. Thank you so much, and that is why we have a chat room. All right, so that then means we can do the following. So assert.elements match. That is so awesome. What is expected is on the left, which is, array string, 1, 2, 3, and gs.status.players.ids should be the same. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I'm so glad that's in there. That's fantastic. Let's get rid of these. We'll just comment them out. Change my mind. I'll be naughty. Just comment things out. Let's run that now. Oh, actually, you know what? I can't really test. I was going to test to see if... that looks perfect. Fantastic. Love it. Let me come into main.go for a sec. Player connects. Yeah, if this fails, it's gonna throw an error, and that's fine. This is looking really good. All right, so next question. We want to disconnect. Pretty straightforward. Gonna disconnect. I'll just disconnect one player and see what happens. Let's do all this kind of stuff. Blam. Player disconnect. We'll get rid of 2 just for. Let's disconnect player 2. Don't need that anymore. Probably tidy some of this up a little bit. Player disconnect 2. Then we're gonna do. So I could now use that other testify stuff, but we kind of have this convention of using wait.poll because we're just very used to it. So I'm just gonna stick with it. Player count. We should actually have now 2, and then I can pull this in. But that is cool. So that should be right. All right. I'm going to put a log on that. Yeah, log res info disconnect player 2. And I can see what's going on. All right. Let's try that. Element match. Man, that's making me so happy. I'm going to use that in so many places. Especially dealing with asynchronous systems. Like, oh my god. All right, disconnecting player 2. Everything is happy. Fantastic. All right, we have but one more thing to add to this, which is our new favorite thing here. Blam. We run that. It's going to fail. Test ignored, which is fine. Let's edit our config for this particular thing, and we can add feature gate equals a gate or gates. I think it's gates. Did I keep it? Perfect, I did. Then we run it again. And suddenly our tests start running again. Perfect. That makes me very happy. Excellent. That looks good. That looks good. You know what I might also do while I'm sitting here because I want to? So we do new tests from flags. Do we output what flags come through anywhere? Create a new framework. Because what we do in where are we? In command, select controller, just to make life easy. We have a config. When we do our output, what I'm looking for? Log level. Where's our? We set up long config. We control config. Control config. We actually log our feature gates. When we do our main test, we set up loggers with a formatter. We say new from flags. Run cleanup before test, then we run our actual thing. So what I'd like to do is also add in here, yeah, when I do this, cleaning up now, finish cleanup, where does that happen? Cleanup, finish cleanup, right? Like that's all perfect. Do I want to do it in here? Turn framework. We should really output logarithm.withfield. I don't know if I want to push in the whole cube config. Framework. I have a strong feeling that's gonna die with field feature. I was just checking that. Let me steal that. With field feature gates dot info starting end-to-end test. I feel like when I run this, I'm going to get way too much information. Like, I don't want kubeconfig. Framework has a bunch of good stuff, but like seeing what the game server image and the pull secret and like all this different stuff is actually really useful. So I may need to like strip that out, which is okay. I can do that. Starting end-to-end tests. Framework. See, it did just weird stuff, right? Oh, also, you got player tracking tree. That's super nice. If I look at framework itself, that's actually strange. They're all public, so they should come out. Yeah, it serializes it a little funny. You can see stuff. Get some interfaces, but these, I would have thought these actually would have come out as, oh, it's, whatchamacallit, this is not JSON. So you're not going to get the nice bits and pieces. So I might just break this out. Since I'm here, and you're all keeping me company, which is nice. Let me get rid of that so I can see this a little nicer. I'm not going to get rid of that because I'm going to see that a little nicer. Drop that to a new line. So let's call it game server image. Game server image is a string, right? Yeah. Actually, let's do it as framework.gameserverimage. And I say this because just in case something weird goes on, I'd much rather have dot framework. I want to see the actual value. Pull SQL, stress test level. And with fields. Perf output door. Actually, I could have just done that. Version, oops. Yeah, version and version. So that's actually real. I think that's going to be super handy. Framework version. So if I run my test again, we drop that out. Reason that is then I can actually see, like, we know exactly what game server image is running, all that kind of fun stuff. So boom, started end-to-end tests, feature gates is all the good stuff, game server image is that, perf output door is nothing, pull secret is nothing, especially, yeah, version is blank. Okay, which is all fine. All right. This also means we'll see a whole bunch of really good things. Beautiful. Beautiful. That makes me very happy. Yeah, that makes me actually extremely happy. Do I need to do something similar here? Probably should. We'll come back to that. Oh no, it'll come through because it already says end-to-end framework where it ends up in here. Beautiful. No, that looks great. Yeah, which brings us back to the same framework. Okay. Let's test end to end. Make sure that's all good. The only other thing I did also want to look at, just real quick, yeah. Beautiful, that all looks good. Nice. Sometimes the way Intellij or Golang handles imports is a bit weird, so I like to take care of that and make sure it looks good. All right, I am going to commit this. End-to-end test for player disconnect. Logging for end-to-end details. Cool. And we'll push that up. Sweet. I think that is where I am going to leave things. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. That was super, super fun. If you haven't checked it out, I started a new YouTube series where I've just done one video, which is what I recall to as, what is it? Online game technology drawn badly. So it's where I explain backend systems for online games, all with me drawing them badly. So hopefully they'll find that interesting and fun and amusing at the very least. So please check that out at my YouTube, which is below. You can see me at Mark Mandel. Follow me at Neurotic on Twitter. Follow me here on Twitch for updates. My streaming is relatively ad hoc, but I try and get it at least one in a week if I can. Because it's loads of fun and I learn new things and it's great. I can hang out with great people like all of you, and you can tell me great things like element match in a Testify library, which, oh my God, that's going to change my life, which is great.